comes a moment in your evolution where you realize that no matter how kind, how generous, or how patient you are, you will still be the villain in someone else's story. You could give them the shirt off your back. You could bleed yourself dry to keep them warm. And the moment you finally say no, the moment you finally set a boundary to protect your own sanity, they will demonize you. They will run to their friends, to the internet, and to anyone who will listen, painting a picture of you that is so twisted, so ugly, and so far from the truth that you won't even recognize yourself in it. The old version of you, the weak version, would panic. You would run around trying to fix it. You would try to explain your side of the story, showing receipts, begging them to understand your intentions. Desperate to clear your name because you are addicted to being seen as the good guy. But that addiction is a cage. The need to be liked is the chain that keeps you enslaved to the opinions of people who do not matter. Today, I am handing you the key to that cage, and the key is a simple, terrifying realization. Let them paint you as the villain. Let them tell the world you are cold, selfish, arrogant, and heartless. Do not interrupt them. Do not correct them. Hand them the paintbrush. Because the moment you stop fighting their narrative is the moment you become free. You realize that their anger is not about you. It is about their lack of control over you. They hate you because they can no longer manipulate you. They call you a villain because you stopped being a victim. This label, villain, is not an insult. It is a graduation. It signifies that you have finally become a force of nature that cannot be tamed. Embrace the title. Wear the black hat. If standing up for yourself makes you the bad guy, then be the baddest guy they have ever seen. When you accept the role of the villain, a heavy burden is lifted off your shoulders, the burden of performance. The hero, or the nice guy, is always exhausted because he is constantly performing for an audience. He has to smile when he doesn't want to. He has to apologize for things he didn't do. And he has to constantly audit his behavior to make sure he isn't offending anyone. It is a miserable, suffocating existence. But the villain is free. The villain does not care if the audience boos or cheers. When you let them paint you as the bad guy, you no longer have to pretend to be nice. You no longer have to pretend to care about their petty drama. You can finally take off the mask of social politeness and show your true face. This is the ultimate liberation. Imagine walking into a room knowing that people might dislike you and feeling absolutely nothing but peace. Imagine hearing a rumor about yourself and laughing instead of crying. When you stop trying to convince people that you are good, you can focus all that energy on being great. The energy you used to waste on damage control can now be used for empire building. You become dangerous because you have nothing left to lose. A man who protects his reputation is vulnerable. Anyone can threaten to ruin it. But a man who has already accepted the role of the villain cannot be blackmailed. He cannot be shamed, and he cannot be controlled. You have taken away their only weapon. They want to expose you. Let them. They want to cancel you. Let them. You are already comfortable in the dark. You have realized that reputation is what people think of you, but character is who you are. Let them have the reputation. motivation. You keep the character. You keep the power. You keep the peace that comes from knowing that you answer to no one but yourself and God. There is a strategic advantage to being the villain that most people overlook: silence. While the heroes are busy virtue signaling, explaining their actions, and trying to win the popularity contest, the villain is working in the shadows. When you let them paint you as the bad guy, you stop engaging in the debate. You stop arguing. You go silent. And silence is terrifying to your enemies. They want a reaction. They want you to get angry. They want you to lash out so they can point a finger and say, "See, I told you he was crazy." When you give them nothing but silence, you starve them. You deny them the oxygen they need to keep the fire of their drama burning. Meanwhile, you use that silence to build. History is not written by the people who gossip. History is written by the winners. Right now, they are telling stories. Let them tell stories. You are writing history. You are building a body, a bank account, and a legacy that will eventually speak so loud that it drowns out their whispers. The paradox of the villain is that eventually the results become undeniable. When you win, you become undeniably successful. The narrative shifts. People are attracted to power. The same people who painted you as the villain will eventually come back, trying to rewrite the past, claiming they always knew you were special. It is sickening, but it is human nature. By refusing to engage in the petty squabbles of the present, you secure your victory in the future. You understand that lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. You are playing a long game. Let them have their little moment of gossip. Let them have their little hate club. You are building an empire that will overshadow their entire existence. You are focusing on the war while they are focused on a single battle. Let's talk about energy, anger, spite, and the feeling of being wronged are powerful nuclear fuel sources if you know how to use them. The nice guy suppresses this energy. He swallows his anger until it turns into depression. The villain channels it. When you let them paint you as the bad guy, all that judgment and all that betrayal, and you throw it into the furnace of your ambition. There is a specific kind of focus that comes from being the outcast. When you are not invited to the party, you are in the lab. When you are not in the group chat, you are in the gym. The villain is always more productive than the hero because the villain is obsessed. Look at fiction. Look at history. The villain is always the one with the plan, the discipline, and the work ethic. The hero is usually just reacting. Be the villain in your work ethic. Use their doubt as motivation. Every time they whisper your name, imagine it adding 10 pounds to the bar you are lifting. Every time they spread a lie, imagine it adding a 0 to your bank account. You are turning their negative energy into positive results. This is the ultimate alchemy. You are letting them power your ascent. They think they are burying you with their words, but they are actually shoveling coal into your engine. You need to get to a place mentally where you almost appreciate the hate. You need it. It keeps you warm. It keeps you sharp. It It reminds you that you are doing something significant enough to be talked about. If you were average, they wouldn't care. The fact that they are painting you as a villain means you are a threat to their mediocrity. You are a mirror, reflecting their own failures, and they hate you for it. Good, use that. Let the hate flow through you and convert it into a relentless drive to succeed. In the final act of this drama, a strange truth reveals itself. The world needs villains. Society needs a monster to point at so they can feel better about themselves. By letting them paint you as the villain, you are actually performing a service. You are giving them a common enemy to unite against. You are carrying the weight of their projections so they don't have to look at their own shadows. But here is the twist deep down. They respect the villain more than they respect the nice guy. They fear the villain, yes, but they also admire his freedom. They admire his strength. They admire the fact that he does not bend the knee. Over time, that fear turns into awe. You will notice that the people who hate you the most are also the ones watching you the closest. They are your biggest fans in disguise. They are obsessed with you. They study your moves. They copy your style. They want to be you, but they lack the courage to be disliked. So, they hate you instead. When you finally reach the top of the mountain, standing there alone in your villainy, you will look down and realize that the opinions of these ants never mattered. You will realize that the paint they used to cover you has dried and cracked, falling off to reveal that you were never a villain, and you were never a hero. You were just a man who refused to compromise, a man who refused to be small. And in a world of cowards, being a man is the most villainous thing you can do. So let them paint. Let them talk. Let them hate. You have a destiny to fulfill, and you don't need their permission to fulfill